What's going on, Show Nation? It is Mike Swingman coming back to you guys with another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 pitching arsenal techniques that top 50 players use. Coming up next. Now, the many questions I get from the Show Nation is, Mike, what is your pitching approach or technique and how to really attack hitters? And that's honestly a really good question that I think every player asks, to be honest with you. When you go to when you see how Pitching Rebel or Sebrev, Magunsky, Kyle, you see all those guys pitch, to one another. Each guy has their own unique approach when it comes to throwing to the plate. Now, there's a lot of techniques out there that many players use, but from my experience and from my research and development in playing this game, I narrowed it down to 3 pitching arsenal techniques that top 50 players use, and they are tunnel vision, effective velocity, and the 4 corners pitching approach. But before we get started with our first technique, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe and smash that bell notification button so that you guys won't be missing out on my future video content of the show on this channel. With that being said, now let's get started with our first technique. So when it comes to pitch tunneling in the show, a lot of guys really have the question to ask me, Mike, what is tunneling? And the answer to that is that tunneling is something that I like to say that you use the same pitching window. And what I mean by pitching window is if you notice through the pitch trail that I have with Nolan, look where the line begins. When you see where the line begins, that is a window. That is what the hitter will see or recognize. That's where he's going to have a train of thought to where what is the spin of the baseball doing and what pitch it's going to be, or is it going to be a strike or is it going to be a ball? So this is where it all begins. And when it happens with tunneling, okay, because let's be honest with yourselves, it takes around 20 to 30 feet for the hitter to really have a good sense of recognition or awareness of what pitch is coming at him, or not even just what pitch, but is it going to be a strike or a ball? So when I start off with Nolan, I'm going to start with an away fastball up in glove side. Obviously, I missed it, but let's say we missed it there, okay? So now, I usually, in my opinion, I like to go with sinkers low and in. It's one of my favorite pitches to go with, because the reason why is that you're going to have a hitter that's he's probably going to think that you're going to throw a fastball up and in here. Instead, you have that sinker that kind of comes, that has that elusive kind of look where it goes up like a fastball, like a 4-seam, but kind of dips like a sinker, okay? But now with that, we're going to go sinker low. We did sinker low and inside. Now we're going to do changeup low inside, affect his timing because of this pitch. We missed our spot, but we still hit that circle change low and away. Now since the circle change broke up right here, now we're going to counteract that with a fastball up and inside or up and away to see if the hitter has timing to see the pitch with elusive. And obviously Ted Williams was early on there, but a real life hitter, usually when it's 1-2 count, they're going to sit or they're going to hunt for a pitch like maybe a fastball or a changeup for that even. I mean, most guys are sitting off speed, but if you face really good hitters or good top 50 players, they're going to look for a fastball up and in, or maybe a changeup low and in. Even though it's a tough pitch to hit, I mean, it's something that I really try to utilize when it comes to tunnel vision, because when you use tunnel vision and you really affect the hitter's timing like that, I mean, I did a really good job of throwing that sinker up and away. Now, granted, it is the computer that I am facing, and I know the computer can be anonymous and how I'm running things or how I'm, performing things, or it's not like a live human being is controlling it, right? But I'm telling you right now, this technique still does work. When I try to use the same window to pitch with my pitchers, I've actually noticed that there's a lot more consistency in outs, in strikeouts, weak hit balls, and I mean in general, you're gonna get more. Your ERA will be low. That's what I've noticed from this technique. It's the technique that I've learned from being an actual pitcher. And it's something that you guys can utilize yourself. And I highly recommend you guys using this technique and trying it out, because it's something that, you might never know. You might use this technique and it could benefit you guys big time. Okay, and it's something that if I would prefer any style of pitching, like when it comes down to the pitch ball marker, I highly recommend you use pitch trail on when you use this technique. The reason why is because you get to see the break of the pitch, or how the pitch will look when you're throwing it to the plate. So I highly recommend you guys using pitch trail on, and you guys use the pitching view of strike zone. Use the zone that the hitter is using against you, because if you try to pitch like you're the hitter, like if you like the pitches that you hate to hit against, that's what really benefits me, and it could benefit you. I mean, that's what I think you should try in using when it comes down to tunnel pitching, is to really use the view of what the hitter sees. Okay, so with that being said, with that first technique, we're going to move on to the second technique called effective velocity. All right, so the next technique that we're going to jump into is actually called the effective velocity technique. Now, this technique is really defined that you're really focusing on the deception by looking at the sequencing of pitches that measures both tunneling, effective velocity differentials, predictability, and other key components that really effective velocity really utilize and to disrupt the hitter's timing. Now, effective velocity to me, when I use it to pitch, is something that I like to, I wouldn't say having the best filthy stuff, but how to use the filthy stuff in the best way possible, how to sequence the pitches in the best way possible. Now, so right now I got Willie Mays up to bat, and I got Nolan Ryan on the mound. So if we go with a fastball up and in, let's say we do, fastball, okay, that was a fastball up and in. Now, that was 100 miles an hour to Willie Mays. But for him, for what Willie Mays saw and what your opponent's going to see, it might be 100 miles an hour, but it's going to look like it's 150. Or I wouldn't even go too far as I say 150, but I would probably say 110, 105. Okay? Now, when I counteract that, and let's say that we go to a deception down here and hit our spot. Okay, well, obviously my hitter got a base hit out of it. So, it is a computer that I'm facing. But, however, when you hit that pitch, when you throw that pitch low and away, you're going to notice that the hitter's going to have more maximum reaction time to hit that pitch than rather, per se, probably facing a pitch that you would see, up and in, like me throwing to Ted Williams, right? Up and in, you're going to have if he throws 100 miles an hour, it's going to look 105. That's what it's going to look from Nolan Ryan. Down the middle, if I throw a pitch right down the middle, 99 is going to look like 99. Now, if I throw a 99 mile an hour fastball low and away, that's when the deception and the sequencing, or even I'm going to go back with deception. This pitch is going to look, it's going to be 99, but to the hitter, it's going to look like it's 95 to 94, and it really disrupts his timing on what pitch it is, and how to really hit that ball hard and be more efficient with it. I read the article from Perry Husband that says hitting is a guess. I have it. I will be linking the article in the description below. Highly recommend you guys go check it out and read it for yourselves to make you guys better pitchers. In the article, it's basically going to state that like earned hard hit balls that are made in the major league are 10%. That means 10% of pitches that pitchers throw is hit hard from hitters that actually earned it, that actually was looking for it, got that timing down, saw it, hunted, boom, smacked it, right? Hit it hard, hit over 100 miles an hour, right? That's the same in this game. Sometimes hitting is a guess, and sometimes you just got to, as a pitcher, you got to really utilize the effective velocity and how to really pitch with deception and using your filthy stuff to the full potential. That's something that I like to use a lot, when it comes down to really understanding how to make my filthy pitches really filthy. Because that, I mean, let's be honest. You can have the filthiest stuff in the world, but if you always throw it right down the middle or in his wheelhouse or something where that pitch, where the effective velocity differentials is not very, it doesn't vary a lot, most likely than not, your hitter is going to hit the ball hard, and not only hit the ball hard, he's probably going to hit it out, especially a top 50 guy. So something that I always recommend you guys to utilize, especially when it comes to effective velocity, is really understanding how to decept your pitches really effectively and very efficiently. Because if you do not maximize this technique very efficiently, you're going to notice a lot of guys are going to capitalize on you, and they're going to hit the ball hard, more, very consistent. So when it comes down to this effective velocity, when you want to use this, the camera angle or the pitch ball marker, you can use pitching trail or classic on. Either or is fine. I've used it both, so it's all good for me. But either or is okay. But out of the two, I prefer pitch trail on because you get to see how the pitch looks. Again, back to pitch tunneling. But if you want to use classic on, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes down to the view, again, I want you to try to use the zone or the view that your hitter sees. Because the reason why I say that is because whatever the hitter sees or whatever you see is what the hitter will see. So if you throw a pitch down the middle and it looks like it's flat, pitch looks slow and it looks good and the guy hits a home run, learn from it. That's how you learn from making mistakes or making miscues into pitching. So when you use the view that the hitter uses against you, you can really start to learn how to use effective velocity to really create a deception of how to utilize your filthy pitches to their full potential. And it's something that I've noticed that from when I use it, I've noticed great results. I've noticed that there's a lot of rollovers, a lot of fly balls, a lot of weak hits, not very hard hits. And that's something that is a bonus for me. I'll take it, man. Hey, if I can get not that many hard hits in games, I've won. As a pitcher, I've won. Now, you guys cannot control like Texas leaguers or errors. You can't control that. So what I'm guaranteeing you guys is that you're going to see a lot of low percentage of hard hit balls in your game. And it's something that you guys can use against top 50 players like McGunsky, Kyle, Notorious. The list goes on and on, right? So I highly recommend you guys use this technique as well, just like pitch tunneling. But with both those techniques out of the way, our third and final technique, it is something that I believe the top 10 players use, and especially when they are on fire and they're pitching absolutely amazing, is called the four corners placement technique. All right, the third and final technique. The third and final technique that I noticed that top 50 players use or utilize to their full potential is called the four corner placement technique. Now, this technique is something that can be very difficult and very hard to do. I noticed Sebrev does an amazing job at it. And basically, the four corner placement technique is that you basically can throw any pitch in the four corners of the zone. Just like that, okay? You can throw any pitch in any corners of the zone. And it's something that I've seen Rebel do. I've seen, Sebrev do, and even McGunsky that use this technique to really affect the hitter's timing. And not only affect, but really cause like a frozen, is it going to be a ball? Is it going to be a strike? It really freezes the hitter onto really making him kind of debate in his mind, like, is this going to be a strike or ball? Especially because now, like, he has to have 20 to 30 feet prior of that ball crossing the plate, the pitcher, or not the pitcher, but the hitter has to have good, spin, recognition of what that pitch is going to be. But not only that, where's the placement going to be? So he's literally going to guess of, if I'm throwing a pitch right here, right, down and in, and I hit my spot, that's a tough pitch to hit. Not only is it a tough pitch to hit, it's a tough pitch to take, or not even take, to see if it's even going to be a strike or not. So I really see this. I see this a lot. And Sebrev really does it really well. I know that if you guys ever see him, pitch, watch him. He will literally throw, I'm going to use a sinker, but he uses like sliders. he will throw sliders up and in that right-hand corner, top right-hand corner, and he'll hit that spot. Because more likely than not many hitters expect that ball to be thrown. Let's be honest. We don't really look for that ball, you know. I've seen a lot of guys that even use top. They go top and away circle change or change up, and it's something that guys are. You'll notice that guys are their timing is very it's very static and very inconsistent because they're really learning. Like when you're hot and you're pitching like this, let's be honest, and you're hitting, we're not looking for corner pitches to hit. We're not. We're looking for, I'll show you with my pitch, we're looking for something right here, right down Main Street, right here. So when a guy throws something maybe up and in that corner, that top left corner or that bottom left corner, and when they hit that spot or any of these corner spots, that is really difficult to take or to really to put a good swing on, because we think that they're going to be balls because let's be honest, not many guys can really hit that spot so perfect. And let me say this, not only perfect, but just consistent and efficient. Because when it comes down to, when it comes down to being ahead in the count or being late in the count, now I wouldn't say ahead, but being behind in the count. Not many hitters are looking for this pitch. So if I throw something right here, and this is what he's looking for, you're gonna notice. This is a computer that I'm facing, but mostly when you face a real live dude, a human being, he's gonna hit that ball because that's what he's looking for. But this pitch is something that I highly recommend you try to master before you even try it, because this technique takes time. It takes time, and it takes time and effort because it's so hard to do. It took me a while, but even that, man, even through all my practice, I got to be absolutely on it that day. My tempo, everything. I got to be everything has to be perfect for me to really, have myself really use this technique, because it's so hard to master and so hard to get. But the best of the best really like to use this technique to really disrupt the hitter's train of thought of like, is that pitch going to be a strike or a ball? And when I faced Seabrev, when he used this technique, you notice when you guys saw me when I faced him in Scruffy's tournament, he did a really good job of making me guess. And not only guess, he froze me a lot. There was many pitches that I didn't expect coming, that just snuck in for a strike. And there was nothing much I can do because that's not what I was looking for. So this technique right here, I highly recommend you guys try to practice and master, because if you master this technique, you're going to be a really dominant and effective pitcher in this game. And it goes for all the techniques, not just this one. But this is the one that when guys are hot and when they're pitching at their best, this is the technique that is the most efficient and effective, in this game, because of the way how the pitches just somehow in some way just, perceive as balls but end up as strikes. And that's something that, Seabrev and Migunsky and Rebel and all the top 50 players, I'm just stating those guys. Notorious does it as well. And all of them do it. So the one thing that I will tell you guys too, when it comes to utilizing this, the view that you want to use is strike zone. You could use it in pitching view or broadcast view. I've noticed some guys use it and they do well. Ball marker, I've seen Seabrev use Classic on, and I've tried it with Classic, and I've noticed that in my personal opinion and gameplay, I've noticed using Classic on with this kind of technique really helps. And it really, you're more, you'll have more command in your pitches on where you want to place them. But you could use pitch trail too. I'm not saying you can't use pitch trail. You could use pitch trail. But I highly recommend out of the two, Classic is the way to go. and it's something that you got to utilize the classic, because it's going to be weird for y'all, because you're going to just see. I'll show you actually. All you're going to see is just that, and you just got to think. You just got to have like a perception, or like an imaginary perception in your mind of how that ball is going to tail. But I did notice by using this classic, this ball marker, I noticed that I was more consistent in hitting the spot that I wanted to hit. But I mean, with that being said, I mean, Pitch Trail can do just the same. Okay, so those are all the 3 techniques that top 50 players use, and it's something that it depends on what works for you. Every guy is different in their own mind. Every guy pitches differently. So that is it for today's video. Those are the 3 pitching arsenal techniques that top 50 players use. So when we go back to the 3 techniques, we learned from pitch tunneling, learning how to use the same window to affect the pitch recognition or pitch spin that the hitter has to recognize or be aware of before making a swing. And then when we go to effective velocity, we really learn how to create a deception of the pitch sequence of pitches with the effective velocity differential that really affects the hitter's timing into what velocity does it look like when the pitch is coming at the hitter in a different perception. All right, and then the final technique we talked about was the 4 corner placement technique, and that was the technique that basically, you'll see top 50 players really throw any type of pitch in all 4 corners of the zone. And all these techniques are great and awesome to learn. They're great to, for you to really utilize in the show. Whatever one really helps you depends. Every guy's different and pitches in their own unique way. So whatever technique helps you in this video, or if I missed any techniques, and you guys can let me know in the comments below, please let me know, because I want to learn just as more, man. I want to be the best pitcher there can be in this game. Even though I probably won't be perfect, no one's perfect. But these 3 techniques will be very efficient and effective in helping you lower that ERA and also lower the percentage of hard hit balls in the show. Okay, if you guys like this video, please hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. If you guys love the content, I try to post videos like this every week to help you guys out into, heighten your level of play in this game. And also, I recommend you guys follow my social media outlets that will be linked in the description below. But more importantly, I want you guys to follow my Twitch channel. The reason why I want you guys to follow my Twitch channel is that I do go live and stream 5 times a week. It depends and varies, because sometimes I go 6 or 7 because of maybe some tournament play, or maybe something, a special occasion comes up, right? But I highly recommend you guys go, follow my Twitch channel. Go see my live streams and ask me questions, see if you have any questions on hitting, pitching, and etc. But with that being said, I hope you guys to keep dotting and mashing and doing well in the show. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Catch you guys later, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.